Well, good morning. It's the Monday after Thanksgiving. I'm driving to work. I had 4 days off, little rest, relaxation time with the family. And on Thursday, Thanksgiving, we got together for lunch with my family and for dinner with Christina's family, my wife's family. At our lunch, small business digital marketing came up as a topic of conversation. I'll explain why. My uncle was really the only out-of-town guest. He lives in Charlotte. Everyone else in my family lives in Raleigh, but my uncle is a small business owner. He runs an insurance agency in Charlotte, and he has for I think 15 years. So he's been around a while. He understands how to run his business. But the topic of conversation came up, how's life, how's business, and the topic was, how things have changed, how the things that used to work for him aren't as effective as they used to be. Things like Yellow Pages and newspaper and that type of thing. So he says, well, what do I need to be thinking about? How do I need to make decisions about what to do for marketing? And I said, well, step into my office. My office happened to be my parents' dining room table after it had been cleared, and I knew the dessert was going to be in there soon, so I was like, this is my spot. And I grabbed a pad of paper and a pen and just started chatting. And as I was writing, I started dividing the paper into 4 quadrants and started labeling them. Here are the things that you need to be thinking about, the questions you need to be asking yourself. And I thought I would share those things. I think they're the 4 most important topics to consider, the 4 most important questions a business owner or a small business decision maker or marketing person should be thinking about. The first one is, how effective is my website? I know that sounds boring, right? You could say, oh, websites, that's so Windows 95. If your website is Windows 95, that's a big problem. The reason I say how effective is your website is effective can be measured lots of different ways, and it really depends on the nature of your business. But if you put a lot of thought into what kind of countertops should be at your receptionist desk, and you put a lot of thought into how often should we clean the office or how should we lay out our store, those kind of things, those considerations that you make about how somebody interacts and interfaces with your brand once they've walked into your building, or how do we answer the phone, how do we act more like a Disney type brand? Well, that should totally relate to your web presence, because in most cases nowadays, that is going to be the first stop. Before somebody comes into your store, before somebody calls you, they're going to be at your website. Now, if you don't have a website, that's a real big problem. You need to fix that immediately. If you do have a website, load it up and think like a consumer that's not familiar with your brand, and ask yourself, is this doing what I need? If you're a visual company, if you sell things, if you should have a lot of images on your page. If you're a trust brand like a financial advisor or an insurance agent, you should have reviews and testimonials and topics about that demonstrate your expertise. So how effective is my website at introducing my brand, and then also conversion? How do I want somebody to reach out to me? Is it an email? Well, then my email address should be on there. It should be a link, right? If I want somebody to call me, my phone number should be big. You get into more advanced topics like web chat and that type of thing, but how effective is my website should be a big topic of conversation. And then the second question is, how do people find it? Search. Now, we talk about search in a broad sense. We're talking about Bing and Yahoo and social graphs and those type of things. But really, Google.com, if you've never heard of it, it's Google.com, is the most important place to start. Go to Google.com and wait, before you type in your brand, don't do that. Think about what somebody that's searching for your solution would type in, right? These keyword phrases may be hard for you to think about, but it's really the first thing that a consumer is going to think about. If you sell art supplies, don't type in art supplies. Type in paintbrushes or canvas or die cut machine or those type of things. Type in those keyword phrases and then some kind of geographic modifier like Raleigh, North Carolina, and see what happens and see what comes up. And look at your competitors. Now, don't just look at organic search results. Also look at who's buying Google AdWords, who's showing up in Google local results, who's showing up on the map, and what are they doing different than you, and how do you need to get there? If you don't have a Google Plus page for your business, that's a top priority. Not because Google Plus is this widely adopted social network, but because Google pulls a lot of their business data from Google Plus local pages. So claim your Google Plus local page, fill it out, get images on there. Answer the question, how do people search for my business? How do people get to my website? The third question that you need to ask is, what am I doing to actively promote my business online? It could be as simple and free as Craigslist. If you have a product that you think would sell well on Craigslist, or at least get conversions to phone calls or emails or something, be listed on Craigslist. Think about classifieds, not newspaper classifieds, but like WRAL.com has classified ads that there's not a lot of competition on, but there are a lot of eyeballs. There are millions of people that read those classifieds. Look for those type of things. Also look at directories, specific to your industry. If you're a tradesman and you do roofs, you should be on Angie's List. You should be on ServiceAlley.com. You should be out where people are seeking you out, and think about actively promoting yourself through pay-per-click advertising, search engine marketing on Google, search engine marketing even on social like Facebook, promoted tweets, those type of things. And then display advertising, targeting people geographically, behaviorally, retargeting people that have been to your website. Hit them up after they've left your website through retargeting. How am I actively promoting my business online? That's the third question. The fourth question is, how am I engaging in my current, past, and prospective customers online? How am I engaging with them? How am I continuing that conversation? One of the things my uncle said was, one of the most effective things for me is asking people for referrals. Well, besides just doing that with a business card, or besides doing that through a personal conversation, can you do that through an email campaign? Can you send an email out to all of your current and past customers and say, hey, I really appreciate your business, and I would like to know if you know anybody else that I could work with. Number one in terms of interacting with people and reminder marketing is social media. You should have a Facebook page. It should be current. It should have content on there that people care about. And once you have likes and fans and followers, every time you post something, that's reminder marketing. That's getting yourself out in front of those people again. And that's free. Other than your time and your creativity, to continually market to those people is important. And some people say, Facebook, I only have 150 fans. I only have 200 followers. Well, time out. What if you were in a room with 150 people that cared about your business, and you had the floor and you could say anything? That would be pretty valuable, wouldn't it? Right. Well, you have that opportunity. If you have 150 fans on Facebook, well, maybe you really rather it be 1,500 or 15,000. But if you have 150, talk to them, ask them a question, tell them something, right? So to me, those are the four huge questions that any small business owner needs to be asking themselves. How effective is my website? Number one. How can people find it? Through search or through directories? How am I actively promoting my business online? And how am I engaging my current, past, and prospective customers in conversations, whether that's email or social or reviews, responding to reviews and that type of thing? Those are the big four. So draw a piece of paper, draw it into 4 quadrants, and answer those questions. And if you don't have answers to those questions, you need help, reach out to me, coverby@wral.com, or tweet me at cmoverby. And I'll see you on the next episode of Overdrive.